I just realised I don't know how to start these things. Because normally, when I do a video, I have a topic I need to introduce. Whereas here, I just went to Twitter and YouTube community and went, "Hey bestie, do you have any questions? Fire them my way and I'll answer them." And then you did, and I'm going to. Well, I'm going to do some of them, not all of them. I got more than I expected. Also, I'm doing this with my face. You may have noticed this isn't the looping background you're used to. It's this face. I'm doing this basically to do it. I don't know why I'm doing it. No one should have to be subjected to this face, but I'm willing to get over it if you are. Let's do this. Okay, first one is from Baker Moody on YouTube. What wrestling series between two great wrestlers should have just been one match? Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi. They've been chasing that G127 match since they had it. Every match we've had since has been going for basically the same energy. They haven't reached it. And it's just kind of sad at this point. It's not to say they've not had good matches since. I remember really enjoying their match at the New Japan Cup in 2019. Was it 2019? I think it was 2019. When they had that trilogy. Yeah, no, because they wrestled. Yeah, so it was 2019. This is what you get when I'm unscripted. And I liked their Wrestle Kingdom match fine. I mean, it's not like my favourite or anything. It did make my thread only just. I think it's worth seeing, but they did basically just play the hits. Just, they've never reached those heights, and we've never went through anything different, really. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, I'm happy with that answer. I can't think of another series that I'd rather have that happen. Okay, so at blue_Rey Mysterio on Twitter asked two questions, and I like them both, so he's getting them both answered. That's just how it is. Who are your non-DDT wrestlers you think would put up the most interesting or good match against Yoshihiko? If you don't know, Yoshihiko is the sex doll. I can't explain Yoshihiko better than that. It's DDT's resident sex doll. You've seen the gifs. And I really, really, really want Keno to go up against him. I think that would be funny. But what I really want is for, and this is entirely possible, maybe, is for Kazuyuki Fujita to stare at him. I think that would be magical. I just want to see that. That's all I want. I want to see Kazuyuki Fujita and Yoshihiko stare at each other, and it would just be wonderful. Can't you just imagine that? Wouldn't that just be amazing? I don't know. I think it's the only real fresh joke you can do with Yoshihiko at this point, because it's for one joke really. It's the sex doll can make wrestlers bump. It's for one gimmick, but it's funny. And has becoming a video essayist affected how you watch pro wrestling and think of pro wrestling? Kind of, with the asterisk of I've been making wrestling content for a few years before, but it really does. I don't really passively watch wrestling anymore, and it's part of the reason why I stopped doing star ratings, because I was absolutely sick of watching a match and thinking, well, what would I rate this out of 5? And it was really starting to hurt my enjoyment. Now I just need to think about, would I recommend this match, which is a very much easier yes or no question. But it does, in ways I didn't suspect. For example, I was doing a lot of watching for other videos this week, jumping between different watch lists. And then when I sat down to watch some AEW, just recreation, I can't say it. When I sat down to watch AEW, I found myself reaching for my phone to take notes when I'm not reviewing AEW. It was that moment where I realised, I should probably take a few days away because I've been watching too much wrestling for content. But it does. Again, I don't watch it passively anymore. I'm always sort of switched on when watching wrestling, really. Wrestling isn't something I overly do to relax. I say that. I do watch it to have fun. But, I know, in the back of my mind, there is that switch where it's could this be content? 9 times out of 10 it's not. Most of the wrestling I watch doesn't end up being content, but it does give you that switch. And also, once you've watched stuff a lot to pick it apart, that's just how you naturally end up watching matches. I don't mind this, but if you ever go into this doing this, just keep that in mind. Jibby at Freude Grape. I definitely don't know him in real life. We definitely aren't school friends. I definitely don't think he's a massive cheating piece of shit at Mario Kart. I'll kick your ass, Freude Grapes. Mr. Freude Grape. Where about on the toast matrix do you sit? Where do I sit? I've been thinking about this act. I've read some of these questions beforehand, and I've been thinking about this. I like my toast on the well done side. I quite like burnt toast. As weird as that sounds. I don't want to like charcoal. I don't want to eat like fucking charcoal or anything. But I do quite like my toast burned. I am feeling somewhere around the 5G section. Somewhere in that sort of colour. That's where I'm sitting. This is from Dan at the Sweet Chinwag podcast. Great bunch of people. Go check them out. What do you see being the next trend in wrestling, either production-wise, in terms of actual wrestling moves, or just as a general part of the view of wrestling? Stumbled over that, but you get the gist. I was thinking about this the other day, actually, before you actually commented, because I'm not sure, because prestige wrestling seems to change decade on decade. Like in the 90s, the prestige wrestling was like all Japan. And then in the 2000s, you could argue it's Noah, but it seems to mostly be like the super workers and the American Indies, like in PWG and in Ring of Honor. And then in 2000s, it goes back to New Japan. So it shifts every decade. And I can see it being Joshi in terms of like what's going to be like the it thing. I can see like Joshi promotions because Stardom is hotter than ever right now, which has just so happened to coincide with me leaving that part of wrestling. But yeah, Stardom's hotter than ever, and Tokyo Joshi's picking up steam. I think people are just like, with wrestling being a lot more accessible, people are starting to watch Joshi more, and because a lot of places do it, like wrestle different cadences from men's wrestling, which I think people are getting really burnt out on the big epic Japanese cadence of a match. I can see that happening, although with Stardom basically trying to run New Japan main events, maybe not. But yeah, it's really hard to call that one. In terms of production, I don't know, because wrestling fans don't actually know what they want in production, because they'll complain all day and all night about WWE not doing different sets for pay-per-views, and then AEW uses the same set all the time and no one says anything. Like, wrestling fans just don't know what they want for production. So, who knows? Yeah, but in terms of like what's going to be like the next it thing, I can see it being Joshi, but it's hard to tell. You know, it might be something. It could be Glee. Imagine if it was fucking Glee. You know what? I would fucking love that. That would be amazing. That actually brings me up to my next question from Nova Exploder. Open the Dream Glee. He is on YouTube. He did a great video in 2017. Go check him out. But he asked top Glee wrestlers. Yuazuka. I love Yuazuka. He's so adorable, and I love him. Also, I love most of the members of Strong Hearts. Like, I love Shinshiro Irie, although I'm not sure you can call him Glee. He goes everywhere. Lindemann. El Lindemann's a weird guy where I see him and I think he's really good. I should watch more of him. I make a mental note to watch more of him, and then I don't. I'll see him next time I watch a Glee show, and that's it. That's about as much as I end up doing. Where, like fucking hell. I love him though. I do like Shima, but I like Shima more as like a legacy guy than I actually like watching him now. I see Shima and it's like, oh, I'm very happy Shima's doing well. But then I'm like, I could just go watch something from the 2000s and I'll probably enjoy it a lot more. From April May, star of the Han Green book. An absolutely remarkable thing. And I assume A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. I haven't read that yet. If you could pit two superheroes against each other in a wrestling match with or without their powers, which team up do you think would be the most entertaining? Look, I really just want someone to be Batman because Batman fans are the fucking worst. But I'm trying to think what would actually make for like a good fight. as opposed to like. I vaguely remember. Hang on. Yeah, Batgirl. This is a great series, by the way. The DC Rebirth line of Batgirl comics. Really fun. I really enjoy them. I've only read the first 2 volumes. I need to get more of them. I don't have any money right now, but she's done like actual like cage fighting, so that could be cool. Maybe have her choke out Batman, just so weirdos can be mad that Batman lost to a woman. I guess that. I just want to see people cry that Batman lost. Mr. Blue Jeans on YouTube community. Pineapple on pizza. What are your thoughts on it? I don't mind it. Like, it's never my first choice. I don't understand the people who are militantly against it. Like, people who see other people who like pineapple on pizza and are like, why do you like pineapple on pizza? Like, come on, man. Just let people enjoy what we want to enjoy in their pizza. When it comes to pizza, I want it all. I want the terrifying highs, the withering lows, the creamy middles. I have fucked up that quote. But yeah, I don't mind it. Like, if you really hate people who like pineapple on their pizza, you should really just grow up. Mason Rollison on Twitter. What is a wrestler or match that you constantly flip your mind on? One day you hate them, the next day you love them. I was like that with Go versus Vegeta for a while before I've just settled on I love it. So I guess that's not the case anymore. I'm kind of like that with Kota Ibushi, where when Kota Ibushi's bad, he's like really bad, like nigh on unwatchable. But then there was a time where I adored Kota Ibushi. Maybe it's not Kota Ibushi. I'm not sure. I'm genuinely unsure because normally I'm set in stone. Like, there's wrestlers whose opinion I've definitely shifted on, but I never really go back and forth. Yeah, I'm genuinely unsure with that one. I'm sorry, that's a shit answer. I am so sorry, Mason. From @ShootStyleCore on Twitter, top 5 wrestlers you think will blow up in the future. This is almost impossible to answer because you never really know who's going to blow up. You never really know who's going to connect with people. Like, you can try and make that prediction, but you never quite know. For example, if you'd have said, I don't know, 2018, that in a couple of years there would be a wrestling company almost on the scale of like a WCW, like proper competition to the Fed, and one of their biggest stars would be Darby Allin, this little skinny emo boy who falls off things, I'm not sure you'd believe them. Same with like Jungle Boy being one of the biggest, like, you just wouldn't believe it. So like, you never quite know. Remember, there's those people who look like they're set for fucking superstardom and then don't go anywhere. It just happens. It's just something that happens sometimes. But if I had to guess, Daniel Garcia, if he can like not flame out, he's going to be incredible. Same with Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty is fucking incredible. He had a great match with Danielson where I think a lot of people woke up to how good Moriarty was with that one. I'm trying not to make this be exclusively AEW people. I'm trying to think of someone in Ring of Honor. Like, Eli Isom in Ring of Honor is someone I can see being really big one day if he gets the opportunities. He's fantastic. Dak Draper as well, just because he has the look. Dak Draper seems like someone who would really fit in on NXT 2.0. Like, he's that exact sort of over-the-top muscular guy that I enjoy. And that's 4, right? Yeah, that's 4. One more. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say Braun Breaker. I've seen some of them in NXT, and he's still a bit of a rough product. Don't get me wrong, but I've really enjoyed his work. I've been enjoying his stuff. He has a unique look. Like, we don't have that Steiner energy in wrestling right now, and that's what we need. So, you know what? That's my 5. I think that's a good 5. But you never know. Who knows? Maybe. I'm trying to think of someone comically bad. Maybe Michael Nakazawa will have a 50-year-old glow up. Okay, Val at Nanism Coist. Go follow him. He occasionally writes things. I like what he writes. What are some non-wrestling things you aim to get more into in the future? I want to get more into comics. Because the annoying thing about comics is finding stories that aren't bogged down in their lore. I have the Marvel app, so I could technically go from the beginning, but I almost refuse to read Spider-Man from the 60s onwards, you know what I mean? Like, some of the comic stories I've read are just some of my favourite stories ever. Like, I love the Injustice range. I think they do a great job of setting up the characters for people who barely... I didn't know who Shazam was before I read Injustice, and it was set up perfectly fine. Also stuff like The Dark Knight Rises. I'm more of a DC guy, as you can probably tell. Well, I want to get more into like some legacy TV series that I never watched. And I'm a weirdo. The only TV series like I really watch are like Doctor Who and sitcoms. Used to be Glee. I say that I've changed. I might, when I get Disney Plus back, I might rewatch Glee. Like I want to watch Neon Genesis, Evangelion, and Cowboy Bebop in the year because I've heard immaculate things about them. I want to try more anime. I don't want to become a weeb. Don't get me wrong. I just want to, like, these are series that people adore, and I want to see why that is. Like, I don't want to just shun a whole section of culture because of some of the loudest people who enjoy it, which is what I did with anime for a long time. Like, everyone I knew who really liked anime was really fucking annoying, so I would avoid it, and that's on me. Like, don't let a fan base ruin your enjoyment of something. But yeah, I want to try more anime, I guess. I had a goal last year to watch all the Ghibli movies, and I've only seen 3. Possibly 4. Hang on. Totoro, Spirited Away, House Moving Castle. Is Lupin the Third Ghibli? Let's say 3 or 4 with an asterisk. Sam Roberts at Quantum Roberts, he does some stuff on the Arcade Glasgow Twitch channel. Those are fun streams. I sometimes go on and just like have it on while I'm doing research for stuff for the channel. Really entertaining. He has a few questions here. First of all, in live Discord, if you had infinite money, who's your new promotion's first signing? Who would be my first signing? I guess if it's infinite money and it's like my toy box, I'm getting Jonathan Grasham and I'm having the company fucking revolve around him and he's going to take on everyone and it's going to be fucking incredible. But then again, that's basically Terminus. But, you know, Terminus didn't fully deliver on that first show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first Terminus show more than most people. But yeah, it'd be like Jonathan Grasham, Bryan Danielson, and that would just be my core. Actually, my new promotion would just be Grasham and Danielson and they'd fight. That's all my new promotion would be. Well, actually, what I'd quite like is like a small promotion, say like between 10 and 20 people, but it's like a season. It's like a round robin tournament that goes on throughout the whole year, and they all have to face each other twice or something, like throughout the year. I think that would be very interesting. You get like this little internalized meta if booked properly, and I think that would be really fun. So yeah, but my first 2 would be Gresham and Danielson. When explaining wrestling's benefits to someone, what do you usually compare it to? I don't compare it to anything. Like, wrestling is sort of its own beast. And also, just from doing wrestling criticism on the internet since 2018, wrestling fans don't like it when you fucking do that. Like, we don't like it when you compare it to sport. We don't like it when you compare it to fiction. And I know this because I've watched Forrest Silver compare it to sport and people tear him apart for it. And I watched Four Pillars of Hell compare Eddie Kingston to the guy from Berserk, and he got torn apart for it. Like, I want nothing to do with comparing it to people. I just like explain why the stories work for me without comparing it to anything. I mean, if someone's interested, someone's interested. I don't think you're gonna get people into wrestling by going, "Oh, it's like anime." Like, have you ever seen Dragon Ball Z? It's that, but real, because they're gonna go in with like different expectations to what you think you're comparing it to, and then that's gonna break it. I think you should just like think of what that person's sensibilities are and try and point them if they want to get into wrestling. Like, don't push wrestling on people. Like, don't do that to someone. But like, think of what their sensibilities would be, what they'd be drawn to, and then push them in that direction. Really, like, keep accessibility in mind. Like, don't push them into Marvelous, because that's fucking impossible to find unless you know a guy with Google Drive or you're willing to pay. So, you know, I know a guy with a Google Drive. Which person from the industry do you wish would start a podcast? I'm fucking sick of people in this industry starting a podcast. Oh my god. Jim Cornette has ruined wrestling podcasts because people just try and be fucking controversial now. You have fucking Billy Ray on fucking ruining... I was a Billy Ray fan. I love his fucking run from 2013 Impact. But oh my god, do I hate him now. I hate that fucking guy. I'm sick of hearing about him. I'm sick of seeing his fucking face. That's an interesting question because one wrestling podcast I do like, I don't listen to it religiously. I don't really listen to any podcast religiously. But one I do like is Chris Heroes when he breaks stuff down. Because I want someone like that who's like very calm, not a massive egotistical prick to like break down wrestling and like point, oh, this is what he's doing. And I think that's really cool. I want more like that. So my answer would be Chris Hero, but he has one. Maybe Brian. Also, William Regal, actually. I want to hear William Regal because I just love him. His voice is also great. He's from Blackpool, but he somehow has such a nice English accent. So, to answer your question, probably Bryan Danielson and William Regal. Although, like, if they turned out to be pricks, I don't think I'd know how to handle it. Do you think Jonathan Grasham could get over in other promotions? It goes back to what I sort of said, thinking of 5 people who could be the future. Because I'm not sure. Because he's an amazing wrestler. His appeal is instant as soon as you watch him. But I don't know, because I saw AEW fans rip him to shreds for being short, and then you look at half of AEW's roster and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It completely depends on how he's packaged, because if they bring up because the thing is about Jonathan Gresham, you forget how short he is as soon as he starts wrestling. Like, the second he starts wrestling, he is fucking drawing you in. So, I can see him being really big, but I think you'd have to... It wouldn't be in the WWE, because if someone's short there, they will bring attention to it. And I don't know, I almost don't want Jonathan Gresham to go to one of these big companies just because I don't want to see... I've seen a glimpse of what like an AEW fan base would do to him, and I don't like it. I just want him to be like my perfect little indie boy. That's all I want. That's all I want in the world. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? Well, it is a book. The 3rd book in the trilogy of 5 in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. Douglas Adams. Grizzle Bear. Favorite Muto match? You need to stop asking me about fucking Muto. You need to stop. Here's this thing. I don't like Muto even like at his best. Like, I don't like Muto in the 90s, really, or the 2000s. I don't like Muto. I don't find him enjoyable as a wrestler. But I have to pick one, I guess, for Tenryu match from 2001. It was 2001. I think that's really good, really fun, because Tenryu is incredible. So, I guess I'm going to go with that. Jack Shares Graps on Twitter. By the way, Jack Shares Graps does the God's work. He uploads old All Japan and Noah footage. He did some threads last year, one of which was about my video, to help people find great free wrestling. God's work. If you watch my free matches video, I mentioned him there, but go sub to his channel, go follow him on Twitter. Lovely guy. And also, he's one of the 2 people in this fucking community who cares about Doctor Who, and he's asked me who I'd like to see as the next Doctor. And I've been thinking about this a lot, because I'm crazy. I'm not sure, because like a lot of rumors don't really do it for me. I forgot the guy from It's a Sin, Ollie Alexander, is that his name? Yeah, Ollie Alexander. He's a good actor. I think would be like a cool change of pace in terms of the aesthetics of a Doctor. Like, the closest we'd have had to him is Matt Smith, but like even then, not quite. So I think that could be interesting. I think Doctor Who should and will try everything. So I think in terms of like an aesthetic, good, and from what I've seen, he's a really good actor. So I wouldn't complain with him. David Tennant would be weird in terms of who's been rumoured. If I could go like anyone, Davis, the Doctor Who YouTuber Davis, suggested Adrian Lester. I think that would be perfect. I think Adrian Lester like has this vibe of like an old Doctor, sort of like that sort of grandioseness which we kind of lost with Whittaker. Like, I'm not saying like Whittaker's portrayal couldn't have worked. It's just Chris Chibnall was a fucking hack. I'm suddenly forgetting every actor I've ever seen. I don't think it should be someone famous. Like, I'm trying to think of like times where famous actors like, I think the most famous actor we've had in recent times has been Capaldi, and he was incredible, but like he wasn't like Hollywood famous. I don't think we should have like a Hollywood famous actor for Doctor Who. I think that's just a bit, no, doesn't suit it. I can't really think of anyone better than Adrian Lester or Ollie Alexander. I'm going to go with Adrian Lester. Princess Strong Style on Twitter. I'm just going to ask the first one that you put because I think it's a great one to end on. What's your biggest takeaway from your time doing YouTube videos? And I'm just going to take this time to talk about how I do YouTube and how I approach YouTube. First of all, I want to touch on my editing because I have nothing really to say. My editing's really basic, really bare bones. It's there to get across the points I'm saying and nothing more. I'm not a good editor. I'm fully aware of this. I want to get better. I need to like find like lessons and tutorials. There's some editors where I've considered, like, there's a lot of editors in this community I admire, and I've wanted to message them going, hey, can you give me some tips? I really like your editing. But like, they're busy. Like, freelance editors are busy. I do not want to approach them and go, hey, can you help me out for free? I can't afford to pay you. In terms of the process, what I really like about this little community is how they approach things. Like, at least I approach it this way, and it seems people like Joseph and Forrest approach it this way, where they start with a question and they seek to answer it rather than seek to like validate their point. Like a lot of, like Showbuckle, for example, loved his videos, but he definitely started from I need to put over how good New Japan is, rather than starting from a question and coming to a conclusion. He sort of started at a conclusion and worked backwards. Like, take Joseph's John Moxley video. He starts with he starts with the question, how was John Moxley's time on the Indies? And then he goes and finds out. And like that's where most of my videos start. Like it's an essay that I did in university. So like my upcoming video on the year 2000, I'm starting with, well, what were the best matches, promotions, etc. of 2000? In terms of process, I think that's the best way to do it. The only videos where I didn't really do that were my two Stardom videos. Not much research was needed for them because I was neck deep in doing Stardom for the Stardom cast, so all the research was done. In effect, I was just showing off my observations at that point. But like really, I guess the best part of the process I can really say, well, two things. First of all, however long you think something's going to take, double it, okay? Like, do not set yourself strict timelines if you're not being paid, because that's just a good way to burn yourself out, right? Like, don't go chasing the YouTube algorithm in that way. Second of all, start with the question, not the conclusion, because half the time I find my conclusions are wrong. Like if I start going that way, and then you just start acting in bad faith, and it just results in not a great video. And in terms of delivery, it's so weird to me because delivery is easily the thing I get complimented on the most. Like, most common thing on my 2021 video was, I disagree with everything you have to say, but I really like your delivery. You made 2 hours fly by. And while I'm honest, I'm not sure. So I guess it's because I pick apart my delivery, because it's one of my least favorite things when someone isn't. How do I put this? There's this cadence, right? And you'll see it a lot on like What Culture, Cultaholic, and a lot of the bigger like gaming channels will start and they'll go up, they'll reach a crescendo in the middle of it, and then they'll go down and inflect like it's a fucking question. And I fucking hate that, right? I think you should try and deliver a script with your speaking voice, because when you're doing it in a weird cadence, it shows that script wasn't written for you, or you haven't put a thought into how you're going to deliver. if that makes sense. I think it should be a speaking voice, ideally, because really it should just be that, but with less stumbles, like you've seen a lot in this fucking video, because you've already written down what you have to say. And I think, if especially in this space where you will be writing for yourself, I kind of get it on the big, like, because bigger gaming channels, What Culture, Cultaholic, they're reading other people's articles basically. But if you're writing your own script, you should write it the way you talk. Ideally, just write to your voice and speak as naturally as possible, because people, like, that kind of delivery can put people off really easily. It puts me off, like, right off. So, in terms of delivery, please just try and be yourself, I guess. Anyway, that's a good place to end. So, thank you for watching. This has been fun. I've enjoyed this. Was enjoyable. Did you guys enjoy this? Like, is there anything you change? First time seeing my face for a lot of you. Please call me pretty. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why you're watching a fucking Q&A video, but go subscribe. I don't know how to end these when I'm fucking scripting myself, so I don't know what to do here. Bye, guys.